All right, we got Tom MacDonald, White Boy. So Tom MacDonald's actually starting to grow on me with his message and his lyrics.
His position in the music industry is not an easy position to stand at.
In terms of what?
In terms of like his lyrics and like him being super independent.
Yeah, he's very controversial in his topics too, which I like. He speaks up on a lot of topics that probably most rappers don't even want to touch on.
Yeah.
Which has made me a huge fan. So definitely a lot of respect for Tom MacDonald. So let's give this a shot. So we've heard Politically Incorrect with Tom.
In the music industry.
And then the music industry, which were both controversial songs. So I'm assuming this one, it sounds like it's going to be just as controversial with something like White Boy. But let's see what he got.
I cannot feel guilty for that I didn't do, but I can understand the reasons why you think that I should. Yeah, I'm white, but I never put your neck in no noose, and I never burnt a cross or hid my face with a hood. You can't just label me racist, cause I'm related to people who did some terrible way back before I was alive. My parents brought me up to treat everyone as an equal. I refuse to feel ashamed cause of my pretty blue eyes. A Nazi, white supremacist, anyone who labels me as that because of my family genetics. The hatred for Caucasians is so pathetic. Go be proud that you're black, but don't hate me for some credit. I'm not the white devil, neo-Nazi, cop trying to pull the trigger. You can call me what you want, but I'd still never say the white race as a whole ain't the enemy. There's racist white people, but we're far from that collectively.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.
White boy, white noise. I can't say it with my white voice. White boys, white lies. Don't tell me how to see it through my white eyes.
If a black man is sipping on some cognac sitting next to me, I don't assume that every black's favorite drink is Hennessy.
I like how he's expressing his perspective here.
Yeah.
Very valid, and also the way he comes across in terms of like how he's getting his message across. I can see a lot of people not agreeing with his perspective, but it's definitely, I think it's a very valid perspective. I think everyone's perspective is valid, but I can see a lot of truth here where I don't agree with people generalizing shit.
Yeah, and this topic about, you know, kind of paying your dues for like what your ancestors have done.
Right.
Is something that we don't really talk about.
Right.
When it comes to like racism.
Because
it's almost like reverse racism. I think that's a term.
Like what I have a problem with is when people generalize, right? So like not all cops kill people. Not all black people are criminals. Not all white people are fucking Nazis, you know? So I feel like when you have that, when your lens is that clouded, where you just start to, it's almost the same shit with 9/11 where all the Muslims were terrorists. At one point, like everybody like viewed any Muslim as a bad person when that wasn't the case.
And like now Asians are getting a bad rep for like starting the whole coronavirus pandemic.
Right.
It just goes to show like how ignorant our society is because of what the media puts out.
Right. And that's, for whatever reason, this kind of like reminds me of the Joyner Lucas I'm Not a Racist song. I love how Joyner painted the picture on both sides.
Yeah.
Being that I don't know if he's black or Spanish, but regardless.
He's both. He's black and white.
He's black and white.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like how he painted that picture on both sides of the fence. Because both perspectives are valid perspectives.
Yeah.
You know, but they're just closed off to the other perspective. So.
And it just goes to show like how much our environment plays a part in our perspectives.
And our beliefs, right?
Until we learn to like go back and realize like, holy shit, like I've been wrong this whole time.
Right.
And then just changing your perspective from that.
Yeah.
Sipping on some cognac sitting next to me, I don't assume that every black's favorite drink is Hennessy. I don't dislike Tanisha cause her first name isn't Stephanie. Not only is that wrong, it's a waste of energy. Ivory or ebony, 45 or 17, we all bleed the same, Martin Luther King or Kennedy. They're angry, I'm reciting the facts. He's white and he raps, he stole the culture right from the blacks. Okay, he's fire, but we lit the flame, he's siphoning gas. So this corny little honky man, the whitey is whack. You letting history perpetuate the hatred within, and then you paint me with the brush you painted slave owners with. Yeah.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.
White boy, white noise. I can't say it with my white voice.
You know, I know that Tom MacDonald is super smart because there has to be a reason why he chose to have this music video in a classroom setting.
Right.
Because it's ironic, because when we think of about the school system, we think about, you know, gaining an education and excelling. But what we don't really talk about is kind of like the closed-mindedness that we gain from being in school.
Yeah.
Because we're being dictated what to learn, how to think, and how to act.
Yeah, the one thing with the educational system is that they don't teach you how to be open-minded. You know, they don't teach you, as you said, like, they don't teach you how to think, they teach you what to think. So I think
Exactly.
the division starts in the classroom, as you said. But it kind of reminds me of Montana also. Montana used favorite teacher in the classroom. And the message he likes to spread is like, he's spreading knowledge through lyrics. So I love when rappers do that.
Boy, white noise. I can't say it with my white voice. White boys, white lies. Don't tell me how to see it through my white
I
eyes.
got a mother, a father, a sister, an auntie, an uncle, and a grandma that I picture when you're openly hating. And God willing, one day I'll have a kid of my own. I refuse to let you blindly hate my wife and my baby, so go ahead and hate the races. I pray for their extinction. If you wanna hate the white people, just make the distinction between the ones who want the best for everyone regardless, and the ones who build the system just to smother you with hardship. Stop before you say it. I know what you've been thinking. How's a straight white male in 2018? You're making me the villain by demonizing my race for things I didn't do and decisions I didn't make. No one that I call a friend has ever owned a slave, and neither did our dads or our dads' dads. Sakes, acknowledging atrocities were wrongly committed is all that I can offer while I'm wrongly convicted. I would never hate a man for what God gave him in pigments, and I would never plot against.
I could never hate a man for what God gave him in pigments. Yo.
I'm wrongly convicted. I would never hate a man for what God gave him in pigments, and I would never plot against him just because he is different. I would never judge a human for the cards he was given, or call him lesser than myself because of the race that he's mixed with. White people that you hate aren't your neighbors or lawyers. They're the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bushes, and Royals. They're the
Yo, he got balls on him too,
to
yo.
actually name drop?
Yo, he got balls. Tom is... He's ballsy.
Yeah.
Those are some big names.
you hate aren't your neighbors or lawyers. They're the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bushes, and Royals. They're the people who monopolized the water and oil and injected your communities with drugs that they spoiled. Got no patience for Nazis, I think they're better off dead. They're fighting hatred with hatred, making the hate more intense. I don't want nothing.
Fighting hatred with hatred, making the hate more intense.
They're better off dead. They're fighting hatred with hatred, making the hate more intense. I don't want nothing to do with either side of the fence, so don't blindly attack me for wearing braids on my head. Hate the
I love that. Don't blindly attack me. Like, how many times do you see that shit happen?
do with either side of the fence, so don't blindly attack me for wearing braids on my head. Hate the people who believe you put yourselves in the ghetto. Hate the ones who teach their children you ain't cause they said so. Hate the ones who think you're all the same and judge you profusely cause the way that you're portrayed on our news and in movies. Being white and being racist aren't the same, man, I promise. No, it's hard to tell the difference if I'm just being honest. I deserve the chance to show you I'm not part of the problem, and you owe it to yourselves. We got so much in common.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, oh you so bad. White boy, you wish you were black. White boy, dear white boy.
White boy, white noise. I can't say it with my white voice. White boys, white lies. Don't tell me how to see it through my white eyes.
White boy, don't say that. White boy, Oh, you so bad, white boy. You wish you were black, white boy. Dear white boy.
Yo, he's a different breed. Seriously, yo, he's a different breed. I gotta give that a like.
Yeah. Damn, look at the 42K that didn't like it.